Alright, take 4. Hi internet, Arc speaking, welcome back to the channel. I've been taking a break from YouTube for a couple months, and I spent a lot of my time playing other games like Valorant, CSGO, Overwatch, Mario Kart 8, and many more that I can't think of off the top of my head. And coming from all of these modern AAA games back to Mario Kart Wii, well, let's just say I never realized how much potential Mario Kart Wii has. The game's structure is an amazing foundation for a lot of experimentation. However, the game developers back in 2008 didn't know how to take advantage of their such versatile platform. So knowing what we know now, in this video, I am going to be rebalancing and retuning some vehicles in Mario Kart Wii. Now I'm sure you've already seen the title, but in this video, I am going to attempt to rebalance the Wario bike into something a little bit more competitively viable. However, before we turn a single knob or change a single statistic, there are a few things that we need to understand when balancing vehicles. For instance, not all stats are created equal. A stat like Drift doesn't really matter as much as a stat like Mini Turbo. At least, not yet. For those of you who do not know, meta is short for most effective tactic available. And the meta for Mario Kart Wii has been pretty much the same since the game was released. Inside drift, speed, weight, mini turbo, and a turn radius that's not absolutely atrocious. The result of that was the Flame Runner dominating online servers for the last 12 years. The second thing we have to worry about is something that gacha games call power creep, which is what happens when every vehicle gets so broken that the entire game turns into a big, whoever pushes the button first mess, which obviously is not what we want. The last thing we have to think about is making sure every vehicle and character feels and plays differently. Not in a good way, not in a bad way, just different, unique. After all, I could just copy the Flame Runner stats to all the other vehicles, and technically that would be balanced. However, it would not be that much fun, and also kind of pointless. Alright, now that the boring stuff is out of the way, let's actually start messing around with the vehicle. I've actually been brainstorming for a long time, even before I started this video. I always knew that I wanted to do something with weight. A vehicle that specializes in trolling and bumping other players off the road. So first things first, in order to just keep up, the Wario bike will be getting an inside drift modification, as well as a speed bump up to about 96 AKMH. And for those of you who think, wait a minute, isn't 96 AKMH like almost the same speed as the Flame Runner? Yes, it is. I understand what the game developers' original intent was when they were trying to balance the speed properties of every vehicle. However, that's unfortunately not how this kind of balance works. Let me give you an example. Inside of Valorant, the cheapest gun, and not even cheap, the gun that you get for free, is capable of one-tapping a fully armored opponent. Obviously, no one uses a free gun when there are more better guns available. But every gun in Valorant is capable of doing the minimum requirement, which is killing your opponent. Inside of Mario Kart, the minimum speed requirement for bikes, in my honest opinion, has to be in between 95 AKMH and 100 AKMH. Why this arbitrary speed limit? Well, anything below 95 AKMH makes every turn in Mario Kart Wii a joke. Not to mention that some strats just go out of the question for certain vehicles, cycles will be completely blown, and most importantly, it's just not fun to play at slower speeds. The game just has a sweet spot, and the reason for the top speed of 100 AKMH limit is because once you go beyond 100 AKMH, you begin to interfere with item speeds. Unless you mod the game properly like 200cc, shrooms just won't do anything, stars won't do anything. Remember, just like Valorant where the criteria is that every gun has to kill, inside of Mario Kart, the criteria is every vehicle has to be able to win, not including items, of course. Alright, back to the vehicle modifications. Where was I? Oh yes, weight. Okay, so the weight in Mario Kart Wii, at least the weight stat, is really stupid. The weight stat is one singular stat, but it calculates taking in the hit and also giving out the hit. What this means is it's a multiplier. If I wanted to make a vehicle stat that's heavy enough to bump around even the heaviest of vehicles, when it touches a lightweight vehicle, oh boy. Lightweights become tin cans and heavyweights become ballistic missiles. And unfortunately, there's no real solution for this. Well, actually there is. The solution is modify every single lightweight to be a little bit heavier. However, I'm not doing that because modifying all, 30 some vehicles would be a pain in the ass. So don't play a lightweight, I guess. For the rest of the stats, I would like to keep it a little bit more on the side of mediocrity. Even the stock version of the Wario bike is quite dull and doesn't have much mini turbo, and rather spends its stats inside of acceleration and good handling. I'm going to nerf the handling a little bit and put those points toward a little bit more acceleration. Wait, acceleration? Yeah, I'm sure that every competitive player has beaten into your head that standstill mini turbos nullify poor acceleration, so acceleration is not a very important stat. Here's the thing. There is more than one kind of acceleration. The Wario bike will be faster off the gate compared to a standstill mini turbo, so you don't need to stand still. But that is not the only acceleration that I'm going to be buffing. Actually, that is not even the main acceleration point that I'm going to be buffing. Allow me to introduce you to acceleration type 3. Sounds like some kind of virus. The third type of acceleration is the acceleration portion that's responsible from going from mid speed to your top speed. Also, for those of you who are curious, the third one is actually the fourth one because it starts counting from 0. Have you ever noticed how the spear picks up speed very quickly after a quick realignment? Depending on what stage the vehicle is, there's a different metric that's used to calculate how fast it accelerates. This will allow the Wario bike to accelerate off a quick realignment very quickly, making realignments after the drift a little bit easier for the Wario bike, just in case if you mess it up. And with a little bit more tuning, the Wario bike version 1.1 is complete. So after a little bit of playtesting for myself, I can confirm that even with the buffs, the Wario bike still feels a little underpowered. It really puts in perspective just how far back and how bad the original Wario bike was compared to a vehicle like the Flame Runner. Like, pretty much everything I did was a buff. And after my playtesting, you could still feel the lack of power out of things like Mini Turbo and the lines that you're able to take. However, I tuned the Wario bike not necessarily to be a time trial monster, but more so of a very interesting counterplay in competitive Mario Kart Wii. Not that competitive Mario Kart Wii, the better competitive Mario Kart Wii. Now, everything I've done so far has been purely hypothetical. Of course, I've been very careful with what stats get buffed and by how much. But the interesting thing about metas is they don't evolve unless they're actually playtested. The only way to know if the vehicle is actually any good is to throw it into a competitive match and see how it does. So, that's exactly what I did. We played a 4v4 and a 3v3 with a special twist to beta test the beginnings of the Wario bike 2.0. Now, I originally wanted to do a 5v5, which is the standard. However, it turns out that I don't really have that many friends, and finding people who had some experience with wars was a surprisingly hard thing to do on a Friday afternoon. So if you are interested in beta testing some of these custom vehicles yourself, be sure to join the Discord, link down in the video description. Alright, the first impressions of the Wario bike was just how well the Wario bike was able to keep up. However, once we, as a collective, got over the fact that the Wario bike was, well, not unusable, they began to pick up on the other little quirks that the Wario bike has to offer. Now, I haven't played a competitive war in God knows how long, and being as rusty as I wasn't really a good metric for determining whether the vehicle was any good, because I wasn't any good. However, once everyone got a feel of how the vehicle was supposed to be used, we began to gather a lot of general consensus when it came to what the vehicle was good at, what the vehicle wasn't so good at, and things that needed to be changed. Now, our group had a mix of mid-level decent players and, well, not quite beginners, but people who were not really used to playing in a war format. And a general consensus that was more toward the lower level players was that the weight stat was way too busted and way too broken, as well as the fact that it was way too hard to control. However, the higher level players said that the weight stat only needed to be nerfed a slight amount, but the main issue with the Wario bike is it can only maintain speed, it can't gain any. And this actually makes sense, since the mini turbo has been nerfed, and the top speed, even though it's almost as fast as the Flame Runner, without a good mini turbo and good drift, it loses a lot of time on the turns. Which means it can't really take too much advantage of its raw weight without some kind of supplement, like a shroom or a star. It was really interesting to see the meta evolve between these two skill levels, and how vastly different their opinions were on the stats that needed to be changed. Now, taking a step back from everyone else's opinion, it was actually really interesting to me that I hit the ball pretty much on the head. The general consensus for every skill level was that the Wario bike was a really good mid-playing wrecking ball. And if I could be honest, that was actually the position that I was shooting for this vehicle. The goal was to make a vehicle that specializes in playing mid-pack and is fast enough to keep up with the highest level vehicles. So on a team, you wouldn't have 5 Wario bikes, that just wouldn't make sense. However, you might swap 1 or 2 players to switch to the Wario bike to do that level of counterplay and potentially win the round. I do plan on changing the Wario bike in the next video. However, for this video, I'm pretty happy with where it is. I might change the speed and drift a little bit, maybe even the weight, tone it down a bit. But as a proof of concept, I am really surprised that I was able to get a vehicle that actually plays fundamentally differently, but still good enough to compete. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this little bit nerdier type of video. I'm actually planning on modifying more vehicles in the future, so if you have some ideas for potential vehicle archetypes, please let me know down in the comments below. Also, next time I do one of these vehicle modifications, I'm planning to stream these wars on my Twitch page, because it was a lot of fun and unfortunately there's a lot of footage that had to be cut because it just didn't fit the archetype of this video. So if you're interested in having some good laughs and having a good time, and also discussing metas and possibilities of where this game could go, be sure to follow my Twitch channel, it's linked in the video description. I stream every Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Saturdays are the days when I plan to do these vehicle mods. However, this Saturday I'm going to be out of town. So once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. Don't forget to do the YouTube stuff on your way out, and I'll see you around.
Oh, he's got a red too. Oh! Here, just let me eat it. Let me eat it. Let me eat it. Come on. There we go. All right, 2, 3.
Why is that going for me? I wasn't in first.
Oh my god!
Yo, I'm first again. No.
How are we top 2? What?
You're not. We're not. Oh wait.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. What is going on?